All right, as your marketing consultant, today we're doing a deep dive into something absolutely fundamental for high-conversion web design. We're talking about the Z pattern logic. Seriously, this is one of the most powerful yet simple tools you can use to guide a user's attention exactly where you want it to go. So let's break it down.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get straight to what the Z pattern actually is. Then, we'll zoom in on the 4 critical points you have to know. From there, we'll get super practical, how to put it to work, and maybe more importantly, what mistakes to avoid. And finally, we'll see it live, in action with some of the biggest brands out there.
Okay, so let's get right into the heart of it. The Z pattern is, well, it's a foundational concept for anyone designing landing pages, ads, or really any simple interface where you have one clear goal you want the user to achieve.
So what is it? At its core, it's a layout that literally follows the way our eyes naturally scan a simple page. We're talking about pages with not a lot of text. See, people aren't reading every word, they're scanning, and this pattern predicts that path perfectly. It goes left to right across the top, zips diagonally down, and then goes left to right again across the bottom, just like the letter Z.
Now, you're probably thinking, wait, what about the F pattern I've heard about? Great question. The difference is absolutely crucial. The Z pattern is for pages designed for action. Think landing pages and ads. The goal is to get someone to do something. The F pattern? That's for pages designed for information, like blog posts or search results. So one is for doing, the other's for reading. Simple as that.
So how do we actually make this work? Well, the effectiveness of the Z pattern comes down to placing your key elements in 4 very predictable spots along that path the eye naturally takes.
I want you to think of your web page like a map. There are 4 key destinations, 4 X marks the spot moments for your user's attention. Each of these zones plays a really specific role in grabbing their attention and pulling them through the journey.
Okay, now this is where the theory gets real. This matrix translates that eye movement into a concrete marketing strategy. Your eye enters at the top left, perfect for your logo. You establish your brand right away. Then it glances to the top right, a great spot for things like a login button. The diagonal scan in the middle, that's your visual hook, a huge, compelling image that pulls the eye down. And then the grand finale, the bottom right. This is where your main call to action goes. That's the final destination. And check out that last column. It's a little hint that in today's world, you need to be even more clear, more awesome to really cut through all the noise.
All right, theory is great, but let's get practical. How do we actually take this concept and build an effective, high-converting layout with it?
It really boils down to a pretty simple 3-step recipe. First, you set up that top bar. Your logo on the left, maybe your navigation on the right. Second, you bridge that diagonal gap with a really powerful visual. And third, you close the loop on the bottom horizon with some supporting info on the left, leading right to your main call to action on the right. It creates this beautiful, intuitive flow.
And here's how you can really supercharge this. Use high contrast colors for your buttons so they just pop off the page. Embrace white space. Let the design breathe. Don't clutter the path. You can even use subtle cues like having a person in your main photo looking towards your sign-up button. It all reinforces that natural path and makes it even more powerful. Okay, this all sounds pretty straightforward, right? But it's actually really easy to mess this up. Knowing what to do is only half the battle. You also need to know what not to do.
The #1 killer of a good Z pattern? Information overload. If you throw a wall of text on the page, forget it. Users will just switch to scanning in an F pattern and your whole layout fails. Another big one, don't waste that bottom right corner. That is your prime real estate. It's for your main CTA, not your copyright notice. And please remember mobile. On a phone, that Z basically collapses into a straight vertical line, so your CTA has to be just as obvious and easy to tap.
All right, time for my favorite part. Let's go out into the wild and see how the big players use this exact logic to guide millions of people every single day. And I'm telling you, once you see this, you are never going to unsee it.
Let's start with an absolute classic, the Facebook login page. This thing is a textbook A+ masterclass in Z pattern design. It's so clean, so simple, and unbelievably effective.
So let's trace the path with our eyes, right? Your eye lands top left, sees the Facebook logo. Instantly, you know you're in the right place. It zips to the top right. Okay, there's the login fields for existing users. Then your eye travels down, and on the bottom left, you see the core value, connect with friends. It reminds you why you're here. And then, the final stop, bottom right, that big, impossible to miss create new account button. It's a perfect, seamless journey from A to Z, literally.
And seriously, it is not just Facebook. Now that you know what to look for, you'll see this powerful, simple layout everywhere. Check out Dropbox's sign-up page, or even landing pages for huge enterprise companies like Oracle. It's like a universal language for guiding focus.
You know, all this brings to mind that fantastic quote from Steve Jobs. And that right there is the absolute soul of the Z pattern. It's not about just making a page look pretty, it's about making a page work. It works because it's built on fundamental human behavior. So the next time you're designing a page, don't just ask yourself what it looks like. Ask yourself, where do I want the eye to go?